Okay, welcome to the webinar, Bitrix24 Next Level CRM. So who are we? I'm Damien Edwards, Business Development Manager of Intreface, and with me I have Andy Naylor, our Projects Manager.
Hi guys, if you've got any questions throughout the webinar, just put them in the box provided and we'll have a Q&A session at the end of each section.
So we're partners of Bitrix24. We're located in Sheffield in the UK and New York. We handle all pre-sales support, so we can provide a demo, we can answer questions about which products are right for your business. We have a full implementation service, including customization and training. If you choose a self-hosted option, we can provide a hosting solution for you, take care of all that for you. And we provide a premium support service, ongoing support service. So what is Bitrix24? Suite of in excess of 35 tools for managing your business, with over 1 million businesses using Bitrix now. Available as a cloud package on a monthly subscription, and a self-hosted solution, which is essentially a one-off fee. So why use Bitrix for your CRM? Possible to process inquiries very, very quickly and with substantial automation, which is what we're going to show you today. Communicate on multiple channels, so we can integrate with other channels such as Facebook. Build up a complete picture of your customers' activities or interactions with your business, not just yourself, but all colleagues within the business. And report on teams' effectiveness and forecast future sales. So let's look at setting up firstly. We'll go through how we can input your data, how importantly you can configure users' access permissions. We'll do quickly look at how you can create custom fields, and then we'll show you some integrations through forms, integrate with your email provider, and how you can set up a channel such as a Facebook channel. Okay, I'll pass you on to Andy, who's going to import some companies and contacts into the CRM from a spreadsheet.
Okay, yep, so here you can see that we're on Bitrix. So first of all, if I go to the CRM, and then if we go to the companies section, and then you can see here that we've got the list view. So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to import some companies. It's best to, we would always recommend to import companies first into your system. Secondly, you can import contacts, and you can have a column in the contacts that associates that contact to a company, so they can map to each other. So we would always recommend to import the companies first. So first of all, if we click on the cog icon and then import companies, first of all, we need to select the file, so I'll just show you the file here. So we've got it's just a standard, we've only got 3 fields on here: company name, telephone number, and an email address. So you can have as many fields as you like on here. You can also include custom fields, and you'll be able to see in a moment how we can map the fields to the particular field in Bitrix. So if you go back to Bitrix and select this file, and then you can specify the responsible person for these companies. So if you've got multiple companies responsible by multiple different people, we recommend to import them in batches. So if we move down, our CSV is tab separated, and if we click on next, so you can see here that we have the option to map the fields from the spreadsheet to the field within Bitrix. The field on the left is the field in the spreadsheet, and the field from the drop down are the available fields within Bitrix. So if we scroll down to work phone, which is the field for the phone number in Bitrix, and then scroll down just to work email. So they will now, these fields will now map into these fields within the system. So if we click on next, so first of all, what Bitrix allows you to do is it has a duplicate control. So if you wanted to update a series of companies within the system, then you could just press merge, and that would update all the details within that particular company. But in this case, we're just going to import them all because they are unique. And then we have this uniqueness control. So you may have multiple companies that have the same name. So to get away from that, we also include the phone number and email just for the uniqueness of that. So if we click on next, that should start the import. We've only got 2 companies, so it should be pretty quick. So you can see there that we have successfully imported 2 companies. So now what I'm going to do is going to go to the actual contacts and do pretty much the same process. You have a few more different options on here. So if we go to import custom CSV, and again, if we choose the file, I'm just going to show you this spreadsheet as well. So if we go to the contacts import, as I mentioned at the start of this import, it's quite important that we have this column here, so company name. So the company name does actually associate the contact with the company, and then you can see the contacts within that particular company when you navigate to that. So I'll show you that at the end. So if we go back to Bitrix and select this file, and you have a few different options here. You can select, you can specify the contact type and where these contacts have come from. You may have a number of different mailing lists and things like that, so you can specify that within there. And then again, our spreadsheet is tab separated. If we click on next. So again, on the left-hand side are the column names in our spreadsheet, and then on the right-hand side here, we've got the contact fields within Bitrix. So if I click on work phone, work email, and we have company name and the company. So if we click next, we have the same features here on the duplication control. So again, we can update contacts within the system. We have the uniqueness control if somebody's got the same name. Again, we can also specify the phone number and the email field. So if we click next on here, that should import those 2 contacts. Now what I'll just show you is if we go to the companies, and then we should be able to see, you can see here that we have imported this Turner Technologies. If you scroll down and we check the contacts, you can see here that this is Jim Turner, was one of the contacts we imported in the spreadsheet.
Okay, let's have a look at permissions. In the CRM again, if you go into settings, now you'll need administrator access to be able to access this part of the CRM. If you have that access level, you'll see permissions over here. And if we click into here, so as you can see, we have one permission level set up. We have a series of different roles over here. So the first thing we need to do, let's say we're setting up a permission structure for our sales team. We've got a role already called sales. Let's have a look. Let's have a look inside that role and see what sort of permissions they have. So they generally have access to companies and contacts to read and add. They have access to update their own or anybody else's within their department. They can delete their own contacts, and a restricted access to export contacts.
Yeah, so what we would always recommend, maybe before you actually do this, is set the company structure up in Bitrix so that you can, maybe, like Damien said, you can specify, you can only see your own departments, contacts, companies, and maybe deals and things like that.
Yeah, so if you go to company and company structure, you can firstly create the structure for your business. If we look down here a little bit further, deals, so we've got different deal pipelines here, and we've actually got different access for different pipelines, and these can be changed, of course. So let's get this section right. If we're happy with this as a permission for our structure for our sales team. We can save that. We then just need to go into our departments. As Andy said, we can set up permissions. We can set up permissions by individual user. We can set it up by social network group or work group. But the easiest way is create your company structure, i.e. all your departments, and then use this departments link within the category here. So we've got sales team, all department employees, and by default it gives you the sales team. So as you can see, we can change this role, but we want the sales role for the sales team, and then save. And that's it. They'll now be able to see the CRM link in the left-hand menu, and those permissions that we've created will apply to all people in that department. Okay, let's have a look at creating some custom layouts, custom fields in a company record. Andy's going to create a field, custom field in a company record for sales turnover. So it's a number field.
Yeah, so again, if you go into the CRM settings and then click on form and report settings, we have an option here to add custom fields. So obviously Bitrix comes with quite a lot of normal standard fields as default out of the box. Those fields may not consist of the fields that you're after. So you would just come into this section here and you can add a new custom field. So we're going to add, as Enian said, we're going to add a new company custom field. So if we click on add field on here, and we're going to add a field called turnover. So if we just give that a sorting order, we've got quite a few people ask what sorting order is. Basically, when you are selecting a custom field from the show field section, what Damien's going to show you in a minute, it will actually appear at the top of that list. So it's quite easily sortable. So if we click on the name of it, it's going to be turnover, and then we're going to have that as a number field. And then if we click on save.
Okay, I'm going to the company record now, and last thing we need to do is make this field visible. So we created the field, it won't be visible to me. I need to expand up the blue X section by clicking on the arrow on the right hand side. Scroll down right to the bottom. As I hover over at the bottom, I'll get a show fields link, and we can see here the custom field that we've created. If we select that one, when the page refreshes, you'll see the field at the bottom of the list, and of course we can now move the field into any area, including we can move the field into the top blue section. We're going to do that. We're going to minimize the drop down, and now we can, because it's in the blue section at the top, we can add content to this field without editing the full record. Saves us a lot of time. Of course, we can create fully custom layout here by adding any number of additional fields. And as I'm an administrator in the system, I get the option through this link here to save preferences for all users. So this will mean that not only do I see this custom link, custom field, but all of the users will see this as well. Okay, let's see if we've got any questions. Okay, how do we import a single new lead? I think if it was a single lead, then you'll probably type it in manually. You can do exactly the same process as we've done in leads to import, or a very similar process to import leads from a CSV file. We're going to show you how you can generate leads through integration with other channels such as Facebook and web forms. So different options really. Also a follow-up question, where do reps log activity and notes? We're going to show you how you do that as well. Okay. Can more than one person be responsible for a lead? Well, by default, there is a responsible field within each record. As we can see over here, this person is responsible for this particular company. So by default, there's actually one responsible field, but you can create a custom field which is linked to an employee, and that would mean you could have main responsible and sort of second responsible for a different type of role. So you can associate multiple employees or users with a record, including a lead or a company.
So on my Bitrix dashboard, I can't find a small gear button to import contacts. I think that's because you'll be in dashboard view. So on the left-hand side, there should be a little toggle box where it says you can change to list view. So if you change to list view, then you should be able to see the contact. And that also depends on if you've got permissions as well to actually be able to import contacts.
So it could be that you're not an administrator, and as such, you won't see that cog. So you'll need to speak to an administrator.
Or you could have permissions like Damien set up. You can have actually grant permissions to somebody to import contacts or companies.
Yeah. Question about rewatching a webinar. Yeah, we do record webinars, so we'll send out a link to recording afterwards. Okay, let's have a look at now at the end of this section how to integrate with some other websites and emails and some third-party channels. So let's have a look. We'll firstly look at web forms, look at email, and look at Facebook. So if we go into settings again, CRM, we'll click on the more link over here. Notice we're on a new user interface and the navigation is slightly different. Go on the more here, over here, select CRM Forms. Again, I think you're going to need permission, administrator permission to access this section. So if you're in charge of the system, you've probably got the right permissions to access all these sections. So we can create in here different forms to integrate with your various websites. So open up one of these, and so we're able to choose from fields on the right hand side here. We're able to choose not just fields that are available within the lead module, but we can also minimize that. We can also choose fields that are available in any of the other modules within the CRM. This would mean that when any of these fields are populated on your website, they'll update the appropriate records. So we can choose fields like this by selecting them on the left-hand side. We're able to then create our layout by drag and drop. And if we scroll down a little bit more, expand this section at the bottom, we've got quite a lot of settings in here that allow you to control how your data is managed. Things like if you want to remove the Bitrix24 logo, you can do this. This tells us where or what record to create. Generally, web forms, inquiry forms create a lead. So by default, it's selecting lead. We can integrate Google Analytics. We can do some design, some standard designs built into the system. And if you know about CSS, then you can turn this on and fully style up your web form. If we go right to the bottom, then we can see that there's different ways of embedding this form into our website. Standard code here. If we want just a button, so we can see a little visual over here, instead of the actual form on the page, we've got a button with a pop-up form. We can use that. We've got links, or a link that we can, a link instead of a button.
Yeah, so basically you can, if you have access to the source code of your website, you can embed this form in. Quite a lot of clients use these forms if you've got the extranet, for example, so you could put this form on your extranet and feed it in to create leads and deals and contacts via that method. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you've got quite a lot of different options there to use on your site to integrate with Bitrix.
I think this is a new one, so time delays. This is quite a, can be quite effective, so this form will pop up after a predefined period of time. Okay, let's have a look at, come out of this, let's have a look at email integration. So if we go into our website, go into our profile, top right corner, we've got a link now to integrate email. If we open this up, I think, well, We are integrated with an Outlook account currently, so we can see that all these we're showing that we've successfully linked our Outlook account. It's fairly straightforward to integrate with most email providers in that if you click into this page and you're not already set up, it will show you links to Gmail, Outlook, etc., and give you some.
Yeah, it does have quite a lot of different email settings. So even if you're not with one of the main providers like Hotmail or Outlook or Gmail, then you can actually set up your IMAP settings, so you can actually configure your own mailboxes. Yeah, so there's quite a lot of different options on there.
And the purpose of this is that it will integrate incoming emails with contacts in the CRM. So it'll either copy the email into the activity stream in the contact record, and I'll look at that in a minute, or if the record doesn't exist, so if the sender's email address isn't associated with an existing contact in the CRM, it will create a lead for you. We're going to look at that too. Okay. Finally, let's have a look at how we can let's look at how we can integrate channels. Oops. Okay, so we've got a custom link, and we've got a dedicated link now to channels within our new menu. If we open this up, we should have one made for Facebook. Okay, we'll go over here. And you can see we're set up. So let's just go back. In fact, let's go back into Instagram. I don't think we've got one set up for Instagram. And so we get a connect button, and we'll get a prompt to log in to our Instagram account. So generally fairly easy to set up with a username and password. It will prompt you when it needs that information, and yeah, that's.
Yeah, Bitrix is always adding additional like social accounts. So at the moment we have got the Facebook integration, and they have got a really good live chat tool. So if you wanted to have a chat widget on your front-facing website, then we could also integrate that into the actual messenger tool on Bitrix. But we are going to expand a little bit more on this in terms of the use of Facebook and integrating that into Bitrix in a case study shortly. But I think at the moment I'm going to take some questions.
Yeah, see if we've got any questions. Okay, can a business process be triggered from a web form? So a business process will generally trigger or generally create a web form will generally create a lead. You can run a business process off a newly created lead. So yeah, a business process, when it does trigger a business process, creates a lead. If you need to go and create other things as well as that, then you could create an additional process. If you've got in touch with us, we could show you how to do that. Can I control the incoming emails, i.e. they are not leads? Yeah, so an incoming email, if a contact in your CRM already exists with the email, then that email will just copy into the contact's activity stream. So you don't really need to worry about it. It won't create a lead. A lead will only be created when contact with that email address doesn't exist. You can also create some rules on it, I think, as well, so you can filter out.
Yeah, I believe you can actually turn that off if you didn't want them to create leads as well. So yeah, you can only have them assigned to contacts that exist in the system. Okay.
How do we change currencies? So if you go into CRM and settings, if you look around in there, there is a I think it's actually on the home page in there, CRM settings. There is a currency, a link for currencies. You'll probably have. I forget which ones you have by default, but if you don't have the right currency set up by default that you can switch to, then you can create new currencies within there.
A question about an authentication error. I think if you just, we've got our details at the end. If you want to just submit any support questions or things like that, you can actually contact Bitrix as well on bitrix24.com/support. they'll be able to help you out with any authentication errors that you may get.
Okay, got a question here about how do I automate the person. I build websites. How do I automate? The person comes in and signs up. They are taken to a payment page, then schedule an appointment with me. So you want to automate this. That will be, I think it will be fairly straightforward to do. You've asked if we've got videos to cover that. We have got videos. If you go to Bitrix, if you go to youtube.com/Bitrix24, there are quite a lot of videos on there. There's not going to be something that covers every section of what you want to do in that process. I guess you might have to go into the documentation. So if you go to Bitrix24.com/helpdesk, there's documentation. If that doesn't help, then get in touch with a partner and they can help you set these up. But there's probably not going to be a video on every single action or workflow action that you want to use there.
Yeah, I mean, you may, like I say, you may probably want to use one of the forms that we mentioned earlier to book in appointments. You could use a form like that, or alternatively, we're going to show you in a moment just how we set up workflows for leads and deals and things like that within Bitrix. So you may get some pointers from that as well.
Okay, it's one more. If we create fields to gather information, can we integrate Bitrix with our website to collect information and then automatically generate documents using the gathered data? So that's a bit more complicated in terms of generate documents. If you mean documents, you mean a PDF or a Word document or something. It's probably if you want to actually generate a PDF from some of these fields, it's probably not going to be possible with some of the standard versions of Bitrix. You'd need to be on BizPace or Enterprise or one of the self-hosted versions. That would allow you to create kind of a document template which you could populate from some of those fields that have been generated by a web form or something. So if you want to talk about how to do that, you got in touch with us afterwards, we could set something up to show you. I've got a question about Chrome extensions. I don't think we've got any plans to create a Chrome extension as far as we know. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at now a case study. We're going to look at how we can generate lead and essentially we're going to look at how we can automate most of the actions required at the lead stage. We're then going to convert the lead, or the lead's going to be automatically converted into a deal. We're going to then show how a salesperson can interact with the deal, generate quotes, interact with the customer through the CRM portal, and at the end we're going to generate an invoice as well. Okay, let's go back into the home page, and okay, we can see over the right hand side we've got a new inquiry on our messenger. So this is an inquiry from Facebook, and I'm interested in Bitrix. Please email me my email address. We can see that it's created a new lead. We can also see that actually a contact's been created as well using this email address. It's actually picked up the email address from the message and saved that contact. Save that email address into the lead itself. We've got an automated response here which can be customized.
Yeah, so you can set all these responses up and things like that within the section that we said about Facebook connection a moment ago in the open channels. And the good thing about this is that we can interact with the customer using the Facebook Messenger tool. So we just use the messenger window in Bitrix, and then once we send a reply, then we should be able to see. You can see here that we have a window open with this user logged in, Max, and you can see here this was the automated response, and as Damien has just replied to them, we can start talking backwards and forth using this.
Okay. Okay, so let's have a link. Let's link from. Let's go through from the link provided in the chat window here. So this will open up for us the lead. So each new message that comes in, if you can't find an existing contact with a matching email address, it will create a new lead for us. As we can see, given the lead a name, it's referenced where the leads come from. We're going to update this lead stage to valuing opportunity. So we've accepted the lead. Put a notification here to say that. Let's open the notification up. We've got a notification here to say that you have a new lead at the valuing stage, and the client has been sent details by email.
So if we just jump to the actual email that will have been sent to the user, so you can see here that the email has been sent to Max on here. We populated this through the business process workflow. You can obviously customize the email content as much as you like. And what we have later in this process is we will have a trigger, which Damien's going to go into in a moment, to show you how it will. We can automatically move the process along. So if we say like a demo and click on send.
Okay, whilst we wait for that email to come back in, let's have a look at the new automation tool. So Bitrix includes business process tool to allow you to create very advanced automated workflows. Now includes dedicated tools within both the leads and deals sections under the automation tab. It simplifies setting up some workflows within these modules. So we have statuses of the lead across here. All these descriptions can be customized, and essentially we can update the stage of our lead manually, or we can now use external triggers in order to update the stage. We can see we've got an external trigger here, which is an incoming email. I'll look at that in a minute. So we can update the stage manually, we can use triggers, and when this opportunity is updated to any of these stages, then the rules down here are automatically actioned. Let's have a quick look at how what's available in terms of triggers and rules. So in terms of automated triggers, an incoming email can update this lead to the desired stage. An incoming call through telephony can do the same thing. We looked at forms. An incoming form with the right information will update this new opportunity. And we can also use webhooks. We have a dedicated webinar next
Wednesday, the 8th of February.
Next Wednesday, indeed, where we're going to be looking at automation in leads and deals, and we're looking at webhooks in detail. It really expands what you're able to do in terms of automating your processes. So we'll look at the rules. Some of the rules that we can action, adding a message to an activity stream, change the responsible person of this lead. That can be quite useful as you progress the lead through the different stages. We can do things like schedule a call, schedule a meeting, send a message. Again, we can use webhooks as well. So there's quite a lot of ways that we can trigger the update or the progress of a lead, and there's quite a lot of things we can do once those different stages have been reached. So we'll look at this little case here. So as you can see, this is a notification, standard notification, standard action block built into the leads automation module. As you can see here, automation rules can be configured in Workflow Designer only. So we'll look at this.
Yeah, so what this actually is referring to is that on the automation rules that Damien's just gone through in the long list, now if they don't actually appear, because Bitrix does have a lot of action blocks in the actual business process workflow builder. Now, if they don't appear in the list for the automation rules as standard, then we have access to a lot of different action blocks on here. So we can create a new company, create a new deal, create a new contact, things like that we can do. There's quite a lot of flexibility and a lot of scope of what you can do within business processes. Now, we do have an actual webinar on business processes themselves, so we're not going to go into too much detail of what you can actually build in here, but we just wanted to show you the actual the functionality behind each process.
Okay. So let's go back into the lead. And perfect timing. We have a notification to say that you have a new deal. Okay, so we look around. If we go back into the automation tab again, let's just refresh the screen firstly. So if we refresh the screen, first thing we'll see is that this lead has been converted, so considered it to be a successful lead. Let's just click into the automation tab and see why that happened. Looking at this section here, an incoming email has triggered this workflow which sits in here. If we go back into, okay, and we go into the notification again. Okay, you have a new deal. It gives us a link to the new deal.
So you can see how useful that is in terms of the automation of the system. We've actually waited for an email to come back to us, and then you will see that it actually comes through and creates a deal automatically. So the process continues quite free-flowing, really.
Yeah, so most of that section at lead stage was automated, so there wasn't really any interaction from internally from the sales team in terms of they didn't need to really send out emails or review any information. Most of the progress was done automatically. As we saw when we received the email, that triggered the lead to update, to complete, and convert into this new deal. Okay, once we're in a deal, we can start to do some serious interaction with the client. It's a serious opportunity now. It has a value, as we can see up here, and we can start to generate some quotes. So we have a quote in here. We can generate additional quotes. So a lead would allow us to generate a deal would allow us to generate a series of quote options. It might be that a customer wants to see a price for one, or a price for a quantity of an item, or they have different options on the spec. So we can generate a series of different quotes, give them different probabilities, and track progress individually on those quotes.
Yeah, so in terms of this functionality, what you can do is, like you say, when deals get created, you can actually have quotes created automatically and things like that. And we can actually customize the look of the quote. On the cloud, you've got the PDF doc designer, and on the self-hosted, you can edit the code and edit the look and feel of the actual quotations themselves. So there's a lot of customization you can do to make it branded and look like your particular company's files.
Let's open up the quote again. So we're quite happy with this, the description of the quote and the products we've added. We can send the quote from the system, straight from the system. We can see it's attaching the quote as a PDF. As Andy says, we can in the cloud, or both cloud and self-hosted, you can customize the PDF, add in some branding, create your own layout. So we can send that from the system. Like this, and We can go back, if we get back into the deal. So inside the deal we have exactly the same automation tool as we had in leads. We've got some different, in this case we're going to update each of these stages manually. We're not using any triggers like incoming emails or phone calls. We're going to rely on a salesperson to update them to the appropriate stage. So update to price proposal, price quote, and we can see as we do this that this automation rule has been triggered. In this case, it's scheduled a call. So we click back into the stream, refresh the page. And we can see a follow-up call has been booked in. We can schedule when that call should be. Is it going to be a week, 2 weeks after we received the initial, after we updated the deal to this stage? And then as we update through these different stages, let's go to promised. We're going to trigger the next section. In this next section, as we progress the deal further towards winning this new opportunity, we're likely to need to check whether the client is going to be good for a credit account. So in this rule in here, we have generated an assignment for another user. They'll receive this assignment in their workflow page. So if we just click into there, and if we reorder this, okay, so we can see at the top, please check for credit, approve for credit. In this case, we can see who generated it and who it's sitting with. In this case, same user in this demo site. But generally, this is going to be someone in your finance department. They've got a link through to review the value and particular client, and they've got the option to accept or refuse this particular opportunity. Now that will send back a notification, as we can see in our notifications up here. So we can see from the accounts department this has been approved and we can progress it forward. Let's click into there, click back into the deal. So in this example, we've used assignments or workflows to request approval to progress this deal forward. There's no kind of automated restriction, so it is possible for a salesperson just to move on with this without approval. But we could build that sort of restriction in so that the deal can't be updated past this stage if there isn't an approval.
Yeah, I think if I just show you into that automation stage before we move the process on. So you saw the system had built an approval process. So if we just go into this small business process behind the promise stage, we can actually see in here what it is actually doing. So in terms of it's creating we've got an action block here that is an approval action block, and that will just basically allow you to create a workflow here, an assignment for, like Damien mentioned, one of the users who maybe probably in the accounts department could approve that there. I just wanted to show you just to have a representation of how the business process actually runs behind the deal itself.
Okay, so anything left to do is, and the page loads, anything left to do is update this deal and win this new opportunity. And of course, this is going to trigger now for us a notification to say that we've run a new deal, and it's going to trigger a link to a new Bitrix, a new invoice within the CRM in Bitrix. So at this stage, everybody's being made aware that the business has won a new opportunity. We've got an invoice. If we wanted to go further and integrate with PayPal or integrate with your accounts package, this invoice can then trigger that. Okay. See if we've got any questions. Okay, can invoices be generated in my accounts package? Yeah, absolutely. So you can integrate. Bitrix has some standard integration with well-known accounts packages. If yours isn't available as standard, then with one of the self-hosted packages, you can develop that integration.
Got a question here, would a lead be created if they do not provide an email? Yeah, that's the lead will be created. If you're talking about the Facebook integration, they don't have to create they don't have to include an email. If they don't include an email, the lead will just be created with the user's name. So in our case, it was Max Cloud, and then the email field would be blank. So you just need to extract that information from your customer, and then you'll be able to manually input that email into the lead.
Okay, question, why are there only 5 currencies available to choose for leads and quotes? Can we use others? Yeah, absolutely. So there's some default currencies available, but if you have permission, again, you might need to be an administrator. You'll see a button that allows you to add a new currency.
Yeah, so for that, you just need to go to the CRM settings and then to currencies within there, and then you can add as many as you like and choose which one is your base currency within there.
Question, would a lead be created if they do not provide an email?
I've just covered that.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Question about is there a video that teaches about CRM for first timers? Well, there are quite a few videos on youtube.com/Bitrix24. If they're not helpful, then best thing to do would be to contact a partner. We'll leave our details up at the end. Okay, we'll have some more questions at the end. So we have mentioned self-hosted a couple of times. I think nearly all the tools we've shown you today are available on both the cloud and self-hosted. There are some additional advantages to the self-hosted product, but essentially they both include leads, deals, quotes, invoicing, reporting, which we haven't had a chance to look at today. Both include the ability to create custom fields, which we looked at today. Both include automation in leads and deals and the separate business process tool. Essentially with self-hosted, you can create fully custom page layouts, and it is possible to integrate with a lot of other systems as there's a full API available on the self-hosted. So in summary, it is possible to move over from any other CRM system. You can import your data. You can create custom page layouts, create a custom permission structure, and of course, with all integration with other platforms, you're building up a complete picture of your customers' interactions with your business. A number of different ways to run automated processes. As we mentioned, we have a dedicated webinar 8th of February looking at leads and deals automation in detail. If you go to Intreface.com/webinar, you can register for that, I think, or if you go to Bitrix24.com, scroll down to the bottom, you should be able to register at the bottom of Bitrix24.com. And we can integrate with other systems such as PayPal. We mentioned that there's some additional functionality available on self-hosted. If you want a demo self-hosted, then get in touch with us. We'll leave our details at the end. So that's it. We have a webinar same time every week, and in the future we're going to be looking at business processes in detail. We look at project management. We look at how tools are available for managing personnel, and we have a webinar that just looks at the advantages of the self-hosted product. See if we've got any more questions. Okay, we've got a question about integrating with LinkedIn. There isn't any integration currently with LinkedIn. I'm not aware of any planned integration, although that is likely to change. I think there's a strong push to roll out to all platforms. If you really wanted that integration now, it might be possible to develop it if you had a self-hosted version. Question about courses for new users. So we provide webinars every week, and so this is the best place to learn about Bitrix and new features. If you wanted one-to-one, then of course we provide training. So get in touch with us. We can provide either or both. We can provide support, which is a telephone support service, allows you to ring us up and ask us questions whenever you need to. In addition, if you want training by the hour, we can do that as well. Okay, thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.